This one feature is crucial for my game. In games where terrain is generated, there's one aspect of the generation that most people don't even think about: the sprite of each block. The sprite of a block is simply the art that goes on top of each block in the world. In the roguelike game I'm making, where 10 subs equals 1 line of code, every area is procedurally generated. So that begs the question, how do I make sure that the art of each area actually connects properly? Well, first, we start with a blank block that has no texture, or in this case, a couple of blank blocks. This is what all terrain really looks like in the game: boring gray squares. But obviously, the player will never see the blocks looking like this, and that's because the instant they come into view, their code to determine what they should look like runs. Internally referred to as the autotiler, when a block with no sprite comes into view, the autotiler does a couple things to determine what sprite should be on the block. First, it has to know its surroundings, so every block checks its neighbors in a 3x3 grid. If a position has a block, that section of the grid is marked with a 1. If not, the section is marked with a 0. Though there are a couple of exceptions like platforms or ladders, which have their own special classification numbers. Once the block has determined what its surroundings look like, it checks its grid of 1s and 0s against a long hand-typed list. The list simply tells the block what sprite should be used based on the layout of its grid, and suddenly, as the player comes into view, the clump of random blocks now looks like a coherent object. So that's why